All right, so let's see here. We'll just kind of see what comes. Keep in mind, child's pose always available to you, right? Or sitting your hips to your heels, or comfortable cross-legged seat, always available to you as necessary. Be kind to yourself, and you're always acting in service to yourself in your practice. That's a given. So your knees are roughly right under your hip sockets, wrists are roughly right under your shoulders here, yeah? On your inhale, lift your heart, lift your tailbone, yeah? And then exhale to curl in. Inhale, come to neutral. Now take a look at your hands, right? When you lift it, when you curled in, where'd your weight go? Did it go into your wrist? Rip down through your finger pads, base knuckle joints of your index fingers glued to the mat and your triceps wrap back, right? Your inner knees ground into the mat and slightly towards one another, right? So now that there's a little bit more activity here, yeah? Now just lift your tailbone, lift your heart on your inhale. Try to breathe to your collarbones, right? Utilizing this sense of ujjayi or uprising. And then exhale, round your upper back, squeeze your finger pads to the mat, press the ground away. Shoulder blades draw away from your ears, yeah? So there's more mindfulness throughout your whole body. Inhale gives you the opportunity to lift here, yeah? Tailbone lifts. Shoulders from your ears, and then exhale to curl in. Find that your shoulder blades draw apart, triceps stay wrapping back. Inhale, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. And then exhale to curl in. Yeah. Inhale brings you to center. As you exhale, extend your right leg to the back of the mat. Leave your right toes tucked, the ball of your right foot on the ground here, right? So right foot is still on the ground. Your leg is just extended here, right? Now take a notice of what's happening with your hips, right? Did they lose a sense of squareness? Wrap your inner right thigh to the sky, right? So your right hip draws forward and down. Hips are still square, yeah? Keep the squareness of your hips. Now lift your right leg off the sky or off the ground, right? And extend your left fingertips forward. So many of you have probably done this before, right? So what's going on with your low ribs are your low ribs dropping out. Can you lengthen your tailbone back? Can you keep the squareness of your hips? If your leg can get a little bit more straight, doesn't need to lift as high, but that sense of extension, yeah? Engaging your quadricep, that's awesome, John. Right? So you're finding the sense of completeness of the engagement of your body in the pose, right? It's going to get a little bit tougher though. Inhale or exhale, pull your knee to your elbow, knee to forehead if you can make it in. Squeeze your right finger pads to the mat, no dumping to your wrist. Inhale to extend, right? And then exhale to squeeze in. This time you're going to hold the position. Abdominal muscles are engaged. Breathe to your back body. Exhale, draw in further. Yeah. Inhale to extend. And then gently bend into your right knee. Reach back for your right foot with your left hand. Try to get the outer edge of your right foot with your left hand so that your shoulder can open up, right? Awesome, Marcos. Right, so if you can get the outer edge of your foot with your hand, right, you can allow for that external rotation, a little bit more openness in your shoulder. Extend your thigh back, lift your heart, right? And then notice if your low ribs draw out. They probably want to. What's it like to bring them in a little bit here, right? You might notice a little bit more of a draw on your psoas muscle. Gently release. Leg extends, arm extends, and then gently place them down. One inhale to lift your heart. One exhale to round your upper back. Curl in, feel your shoulder blades spread apart, yeah. Inhale brings you to center. And then same deal, extend your left leg back behind you, right? Left toes are tucked on the mat here, or just behind the mat as the case may be, right? Low ribs draw in, right? So with your left toes or ball of your left foot leveraging on the mat, what's it like to get your hips even, low ribs in, right? And now from your hip flexor, lift your left leg, extend your right arm forward, yeah. And then once again, low ribs probably want to drop out, especially if you're a little bit more flexible, right? Think about pulling them in, sending your tailbone back, shoulders from your ears, right? And it's Shannon, correct? Excellent. And what Shannon is doing, where she's drawing the sides of her neck back and looking just past the front of her mat, that's most ideal here. Take an inhale, and then exhale, knee to elbow, knee to forehead if you can do it, yeah, hug in. Inhale to extend, right? Draw the sides of your neck back so you get that lift of your sternum. And then exhale to curl in, hug in, and hold. Breathe into your back body. Take that inhale. Exhale will draw you in more deeply, right? Ground through your inner right knee. Inhale to extend. And then exhale, bend into your left leg. Reach your right hand back to the outer edge of your left foot. And did I just have you do the same side twice? Oh, okay. Excellent. It happens sometimes. So I space out. Thank you. right? And then try to like lift your thigh and send your tailbone back with your heart, right? You'll notice your hips, they almost automatically, right? Your right hip wants to raise and shift to the right. Ease it back, ease it down. One more lift to your heart, and then gently release it down. One inhale to lift your heart, lift your tailbone. Exhale to round in. Inhale brings you to center, toes tuck, and then exhale, press up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Right. And then just for fun today, right? Usually you kind of like look towards the back of the mat, your head hangs a little bit. What's it like to draw the sides of your neck back? Get a little bit of a lift to your heart, right? And if your low ribs splay out in the process, draw them in against that. So you're finding expansion, but with a sense of containment. It's like you're building a firm foundation, right? Firm parameters for the expansion of self, yeah. On your exhale, bend your knees. Try to put your rib cage against your thighs, look past your hands. Gently make your way to the top of the mat and halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to forward fold. Big toes to touch. Knees together, sit low. Utkatasana, chair pose, fierce pose, uneven pose. And see what happens if you can get your feet together and knees together, right? So it squeezes in. You get a little bit of that hug up and in of your inner thighs, right? And then notice, right? You kind of get that lift to your heart. Maybe your low ribs want to splay out. What's it like to sit down lower? Pull your low ribs in against that and like lean back. You know what I mean? What's his name? Little John, right? I'm getting it wrong. It might be the Yin Yang Twins or you know, Salt and Pepper or who knows. Oh yeah, by the way, Salt and Pepper is playing tonight, I think, at Moody Theater. So happy Halloween, y'all. Take an inhale and then exhale, forward fold. Uttanasana, yeah? I'm serious about that last part. I'm like 90% sure that they're playing. Yes? All right, excellent. Who's got a ticket for me? Evenly distributed through your big toe ball mound, centers of your heels. Now fingertips to the ground, inhale, halfway lift. Leverage your heart forward. Fingertips can be against your shins as well, but you're getting that lift of your heart. Exhale to fold. Step your left foot back to the back of the mat. Find that low lunge position here. Your knee is off the ground. Once again, if your hips shift to the right, think right hip down and back, left hip up and forward. Your inner left thigh wraps to the sky. And Rachel, if you can press your left leg a little bit more straight, get your quadricep engaged. Awesome. To create buoyancy, inhale takes you back to plank pose. And then exhale, lower down slowly all the way to the mat. Elbows tight to your rib cage. Toes are untucked here. Spread your toes wide here. Stretch the tops of your feet out. And then inhale, lift your heart. Yeah. Float your palms. Right? And then roll your shoulders back and down your spine. Draw the sides of your neck back so you get that little bit of a lift to your heart. Now hands down, leverage your heart forward. Squeeze your finger pads to the mat. If you want upward facing dog, try to pull your heart forward and lift up into it, right? Without pressing back, yeah? Toes are untucked. Thighs are off of the mat, yeah? Knees are off of the mat. So tops of your feet all the way down. Right? Shoulders from your ears. If you're dealing with an ankle injury, Cobra pose is most recommended so you can actually get a heart opener here. And then exhale up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands. Inhale, step or float it up, halfway lift, yeah. And then exhale the forward fold. Ease your feet about, now we'll say 18 inches apart. Bring your sitting bones towards your heels, yeah? So that there's this idea of like your knees coming towards your armpits, right? See what you can do to keep a flat back here, yeah? Palms usually come together here, so take your palms here for a moment. Draw the sides of your neck back, get that lift of your heart. Now, try to put your knees into your armpits and press your palms forward as though you're trying to press the wall away, yeah? Shoulders draw from your ears. Now, knees are against your armpits are physically against your knees, yeah? Right, so you're like crow pose, but turn 90 degrees, right? It's a little bit of pain in the ass, right? Or maybe pain in the hips, yeah? Right? But you're trying to find a little bit of abdominal engagement here from the leverage. Now begin to shift forward, plant your hands. Elbows can bend back like Chaturanga Dandasana. You can lift one foot, lift both feet, right, if it works. But if neither foot lifts off the ground, knees against your armpits, armpits against your knees, finger pads claw to the mat. Bakasana. Crane pose, crow pose, and just like Nick is doing, you're really working to try to get your knees all the way to your armpits and then press your arms straight, upper back rounds. As you're ready, you can shoot it back if it serves for you to. Everybody makes their way belly down on the mat. Interlace your fingers at your low back. Wrap your triceps to the sky and bend your elbows a little bit here so you can really squeeze your collarbones open first and then extend your knuckles back. Use your back muscles, lift your heart. You can lift your thighs off the mat if you would like. Try to keep your legs straight if you do so. So it's not about where your feet go, it's about this extension of your front body, yeah? Inner thighs continue to wrap towards one another. Now, keep your heart lifted, release your hands down, press the tops of your feet down, press to upward facing dog, and hold. Once again, dealing with injury, it's cobra pose, right? But your quadriceps are engaged, so you don't just hang out in this pose. You are dragging your heart forward. You're thinking hands towards your hips, shoulders from your ears very actively here. And if you find that you're crunching your low back, can you get the lift from your heart here, low ribs in, take an inhale, and then exhale up and back, downward facing dog. Here. Draw the sides of your neck back here. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, pull your right knee to your right armpit, shift in, hug in. Those of you with an arm balance, be it one-legged crow or Ekapada Vinyasa 2, are welcome to go here. And then gently kick your right leg up and back. Just stack your right hip on top of your left and melt your left heel towards the mat here. Left shoulder or left hip pulls away from your left shoulder. Find that expansion through your right hip flexor, yeah? And then pull your knee to your chest once again. Step your right foot to the inside of your right hand. Spin your left foot down here. Now take your right thumb to your right hip crease. Squeeze your right hip back. Your back toes are turned in 45 degrees for Virabhadrasana 1. Right, so you're working to squeeze your inner thighs towards one another, low ribs in, and then inhale, carry your heart, your arms, your fingertips up. Right. Now, get the inner part of your left knee active. Sink low here, and if you're on a bit of a tightrope, if your heels are crossed, right, you're going heel to heel alignment or wider, right, and there's a grounding through the outer edge of your back foot, a drawing up through the arch of your back foot. Compress your palms together if you'd like. Lift your heart, sink your hips, look where your heart points. Exhale, plant your hands, Chaturanga Dandasana, four-limb staff pose. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, upward facing dog or cobra, Bhujangasana. Stretch the tops of your feet out actively. And then exhale, up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Next inhale draws your left leg up and back behind you, yeah? And then knee to your armpit, yeah? Hug in, hold in here, yeah? Finger pads claw to the mat, arm balances are available. And then gently, left leg kicks up and back behind you. Stack your left hip on top of your right, let your right heel melt towards the mat. And then knee to your chest, step your left foot to the inside of your left hand, spin your right foot down, peel your left thumb to your left hip and use that to peel your left hip back and pull your low ribs in against it, yeah? Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. So just take a look at your back foot here, right? If you notice that it's splayed out a little bit and as a result your right hip splays out, turn your right foot to like 2 o'clock on your mat, yeah? Nice, even a little bit more mat. Beautiful, right? And then once again, you're drawing, right? Your energy up from the ground here, you're rooting, low ribs in, inhale, maybe you look up. Exhale, plant your hands, Chaturanga Dandasana, four-limb staff pose. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, toes are untucked, tops of your feet stretch actively. Exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So there's just easefulness through this practice, yeah? But at the same time, there's this sense of steadiness, consistency, right? The stira, right? So the idea is that they both coexist and they actually support each other and allow each other a sense of completeness, right? Squeeze your hands towards one another. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands. Inhale, step or float it up, halfway lift, yeah? Exhale to forward fold. Feet together, knees together, sit low, Utkatasana, chair pose, fierce pose. Hands to heart center. Pull your low ribs in, but press your sternum against your thumbs and hook your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. So you're twisting to the left, taking this revolved chair. Shoulders draw from your ears, low ribs draw in. And yeah, if there are arm balances available to you here, you're welcome to go there, right? But if it doesn't serve you to take them, even if you take them every day of your life, there's no need to, right? It's always of a voluntary nature. Find a sense of peace right here, sense of sweetness. Sit lower, lift your heart higher. right? And keep in mind, if you're gripping your outer hips, it's not helpful. Your quadriceps want to do the work. Inhale brings you to center. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. You can pedal it out a little bit if you'd like. Let your shoulders release. Let anywhere that tension kind of went to, right? Let that reveal itself and breathe into it, right? And then sigh it out, let it go. So second side, sit low, hands to heart center. Lift your heart to your thumbs first. Hook your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Those of you in a revolved chair, right? Your hips, it's inherent they want to shift to the left, right? It's a path of least resistance, right? That's happening, right? Think about sitting lower, shifting your hips back to the right an inch. Right? Any variation that's available to you, go for it. If you want to close your eyes here and just see what it's like just to experience without having to look, without having to worry about how you look, right? Let that happen. Let that softness happen, that sense of completeness, because it's already there. Inhale brings you to center. Exhale to forward fold. Next inhale stands you up all the way. Reach up, maybe even slightly back with a bend in your knees to stretch through your belly. Exhale, hands to heart center. So just one round of the traditional Surya Namaskar B on your breath. Sit low, inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose, fierce pose. And then exhale to forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, leverage your heart forward. And then exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, four-limb staff pose, stepping or floating, elbows tight to your rib cage. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, shoulders from your ears. And then exhaling, Adho Mukha, downward facing dog, right foot steps forward, left foot spins down. Virabhadrasana 1, hips low, heart high, inhale up. And then exhale carries you all the way back to that low push-up position, four-limb staff pose. Inhale carries you up, breathe to your collarbones, find the lift of your breath, and then exhale, belly to spine, your abdominals carry you back. Step your left foot forward, spin your right foot down, and Virabhadrasana 1 on your inhale. Exhale carries you all the way back. Inhale carries you all the way up, and then exhale carries you all the way back. And just for fun here, right? On your inhale, spike your heels. Take your heels to the left. On your exhale, you can bend into your knees. You're stretching into your right side body. So just creeping it over, yeah? And then inhale carries you back to center. Exhale the second side, yeah? So just allow for some space to come there. Next inhale carries your right leg up and back behind you. And then exhale, pull your knee to your armpit, hug in, hold in. And then easefully touch your knee to your forehead, step your right foot between your hands. Take a block, place it to the outside of your right foot. Spin your left foot down as if for warrior two, but you're just going to plant your hand on the block, wrap your right tricep back and squeeze your right hip back. So your right leg squeezes to your right arm. Now send your left fingertips towards the side mirrors. Turn your left palm forward and then ease your left arm over your left shoulder, right? So you're trying to find what's this external rotation of your left arm here. So the pinky edge of your left hand is all the way down, right? And in doing so, it's like your tricep wraps. It's wrapping the same way in downward facing dog, plank pose, yeah? There's space between your shoulder and your ear. Fingertips are still extended, yeah? Pull your low ribs in, right? Try to take your heart further forward and wrap your left rib cage to the sky. Now a block can come back with you here. I might recommend it. And then ease your right leg towards straight, left arm towards the sky. Trikonasana, triangle pose here, right? So you're still wrapping your left rib cage to the sky here. You're thinking straight line from your right wrist to your left fingertips here. And then what very often happens is that there's this kind of like your low ribs draw out a little bit so you can soften your right hip back, right? And then pull your low ribs in towards your kidneys, right? And against that, begin to wrap your left rib cage to the sky here. Your left hip inherently comes down and forward. So this stacking your hips thing, all it kind of does is make you crunch into your right side body over time, right? And take away from the expansiveness of your body. But think right hand to the outside of your right foot, of your right ankle, like on a block, right? And you're gonna wrap your tricep back like side plank, yeah? And then slowly keep this, begin to bend into your right knee, take your heart forward and kick through your left heel, extend into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose, right? And what you're doing is you're sending your right hip to the back of the room, right? And it's more than permissible to take your left hand to your left hip, right? But try to pull your low ribs in to start and just soften your outer right hip. Let your quadricep do the work here, right? You're going to keep working to wrap your left rib cage to the sky. Kick your left toes towards your left heel, and you'll notice very often what happens is your left heel kind of creeps towards the right edge of your mat. If you were to look down towards your left heel or left toes, could you see them? Right? And then slowly begin to bend into your right knee, lift your left leg higher to start, heart comes forward, and then easily make your way back, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So it's all along the same continuum here. Right? And then slowly begin to windmill your hands down, all 10 toes turn to the right. Plant your left hand, take your right fingertips to the sky. Now I could stay right here, or, right, and make sure that your left palm is down, that your left fingertips point straight forward, yeah? That your fingertips are spread wide, that your tricep wraps back, right? And now, from this supported side plank here, outer edge of your back foot is down, your right toes are turned to the right here, right? So the entire outer edge of your back foot is down here. Right? You can take your peace fingers to your right big toe. Squeeze your knee to your armpit here. Send your tailbone towards your left heel so your butt doesn't stick out. And then slowly from there, extend your right toes towards the sky. If it serves you, if it's like, this is bullshit, right? Stay in supported side plank, press your right foot into the mat more, right? And then slowly taking an inhale, exhale, everybody releases. Make your way back to downward facing dog any way that you choose. Take an inhale here. And an exhale, audibly sigh it out, let it release. All right, next inhale carries your left leg up and back behind you. And an exhale, pull your left knee to your armpit here. Hug in, hold in, right? And begin to try to take your knee to your forehead so you really find the abdominal work here. Finger pads grip towards the mat. Step your left foot between your hands. Take your block, bring your block to the outer edge of your left foot. Spin your right foot down as if for Warrior 2. Plant your left palm on the block here, yeah? Wrap your left tricep back and just send your fingertips towards Orchard Street. Okay. Now turn your palm to face the front of the room. Right. So your fingertips should be reaching straight towards the street, yeah? As opposed to towards the ceiling. Right? So straight towards the all the way down, yeah? So your arm is like parallel to the ground. And then from there, palm turns down, and then wrap your arm towards over your right ear here. Shoulder softens from your ear, so your arm wraps in your shoulder socket, shoulder comes away from your ear as a result here, yeah? Yeah, exactly this, so you get that extra little bit of space, yeah? And then pinky edge of your right hand is down here. So thinking, relax this, and then just your arm stays straight. And just, yeah, exactly this, get that extra little bit of, right? And then wrap your right rib cage to the sky. Lower ribs in. And then easefully, by pressing down through your left big toe ball mound, right? Begin to ease your left leg towards straight, right fingertips straight up, Trikonasana triangle pose. Right, so left leg goes straight and your palm maybe slides back just a little bit here, yeah? And with your back toes turned in just a little bit more than your back foot, you can wrap your inner right thigh towards the back of the room, ease your left hip away from your left shoulder, low ribs in. Heart extends forward. And then slowly begin to soften. Bend into your left knee, shift forward. Plant your left palm, kick through your right heel, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Right, and if you can sneak a peek down your right side body, right, one, make sure your right toes are flexed towards your right shin, and that you can see your right toes by looking down towards the end of your mat. And then gently begin to bend into your left knee, heart comes forward. Make your way back to warrior two. Think low ribs in here, especially if your psoas muscle is a little bit tight, right? If you find that you're kind of leaning forward a little bit, what's it like to, right, take your low ribs in, tailbone down, but almost like you're gonna, right, shift your whole torso back. Feel your thigh bone drawing to your hip socket. One inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale, hands plant, all 10 toes turn to the left. On the outer edge of your right foot, left fingertips to the sky. Supported side plank, and make sure that back foot, exactly Marcos, is really, really active here, yeah? And then once again, right, you'll be pressing down through your left foot, right, staying here in supported side plank, right? And then Nancy has a really good idea here. If your IT band's a little bit tight, walking your left foot towards the back of the mat can be helpful here, yeah? Now, if you have that availability, you can bind your big toe with your left peace fingers. Extend your left leg towards the sky. Take an inhale. And then exhale, plant your hands. Come to plank pose, lower all the way to the mat. Now come to Sphinx pose. So your elbows are directly under your shoulders, right? Palms are parallel to one another here, right? So your forearms are completely on the mat. Think dolphin, yeah? So Medina, take your wrists slightly wider. Yes, exactly that. Excellent, excellent. Awesome. Right, and right here might work, but pull your shoulders from your ears, drag your heart forward here. Try not to crunch your low back, right? You're not going for low back compression. Some of you may float your elbows, right? Keep them from splaying out. Press down through the tops of your feet. So this is still an active pose here. Right? And allow your arms, for some of you, right, you're going to open through your heart, allow your arms to press towards straight here, right? Sides of your neck draw back, and once again, if your low ribs start splaying out, if your low back crunches, pull your low ribs in, find the abdominal engagement. Take one more inhale. Exhale to lower all the way down. Bring your third eye point to the mat. You can rest your third eye point on the backs of your hands, or take your fingertips forward, maybe even palms up, thinking full prostration. Take a great big inhale all together here. And an exhale, sigh it out. All right. Now bend into your knees, grab the outside edges of your feet. Lift your thighs, lift your heart. Dhanurasana, bow pose. Right? And try to make this as little effort in the grip of your feet and hands against one another, right? So you're kicking your feet to your hands, or if you're grabbing your ankles, doing so. Shoulders draw from your ears, inner thighs wrap back. Take one more inhale. Exhale to lower all the way down. Now gently plant your hands any way that you would like to. Make your way back to downward facing dog, hands and knees, plank, upward facing dog. Quick moment in child's pose. Tracy's a very, very good idea there, just to counter a little bit here. All right, so any way that you would like to, make your way to the top of the mat for chair pose. You can jump to crow, step it up, float it up. We all meet in chair. Begin to slowly descend your sitting bones towards your heels. Try to get the two to touch. Try not to lift your heels off the mat in the process. Try to keep your heart lifted. And then slowly bring your sitting bones down. Hands behind your thighs. But take a moment here. Find your blocks. Get your blocks to the sides of your hips. Right? So, right, you've heard the saying, kill them with kindness before, right? Hands behind your thighs. Lift your shins here. Right? And your shins might stay parallel to the mat. Make sure that your heart stays lifted. Right? So, you think kindness, right? Yoga is kindness, right? Asana, the physical practice of yoga, is a part of yoga, which is a part of kindness. And this Navasana boat pose is a part of asana, right? So, instead of, killing you with kindness, we're going to condense it down and kill you with Navasana. It's good to have a sense of humor here, right? That's the thing about life, right? You don't make it out alive. All right. So, there are 8 limbs to Raja Yoga, yeah? The royal yoga. You can let your legs extend. You can let your palms extend. You can even think of like rowing your boat. Yay. Could be fun, right? So what you're going to do is take your knees, squeeze your knees together, hug in, plant your hands. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, come back Navasana, right? So that's yamas, that which you don't do. Inhale, come down halfway. And then exhale to come up. Cross your shins the other way, hug your knees in, inhale lifts you up. Exhale, right back Navasana, boat pose, that's niyamas, that which you do. Inhale, come down halfway. Exhale to come up, cross your shins, hug it in, inhale lifts you up. Exhale, Navasana, boat pose, asana, the physical practice. Inhale comes down halfway. Exhale to bring you up. Cross your shins, inhale brings you up. Exhale brings you right back. Pranayama, mastery of the breath, life force. Inhale, come down halfway. Exhale, come up, knees in, shins hug in, lift up, right back. Pratyahara, withdrawal from your senses. Inhale comes up. Exhale brings you up. Shins cross, hug in, lift up, right back. Dharana, one point in concentration. Inhale brings you down halfway. Exhale to lift up. Hands plant, lift up, inhale. Exhale brings you right back. Dhyana, that's meditation. Inhale brings you down halfway. Exhale brings you up. Cross your shins, lift up. Right back. Navasana. Samadhi, right? Lift. All right, and slowly lower it all the way down. Fingertips reach back behind you. If you tickle somebody's feet, introduce yourself at least later. Give yourself a little bit of a stretch here. Take an inhale. Exhale, audible sigh. All right. And then gently make your way up to seated with your legs extended. And just come right onto your sitting bones. So, option 1 from here, plant your feet, hands come about 10 inches back behind you. You're going to take reverse tabletop, but if you can do it with your legs extended, you'll point your toes, lift up. Purvottanasana. Help open up your front body. Intense eastern facing stretch here. Think inner thighs wrap towards one another, tailbone lengthens away. Use your back body, lift. Exhale to lower all the way down. Now, cross your shins, grab opposite feet here. Outer hips get very, very active, right? And see about squeezing your knees in towards one another. Now, right? Blocks are still beside you. So option 1, roll over your shins, or you can swing your legs back. Option 2, hands plant on the blocks or on the ground if you've got it. And what you'll do is you'll think of like swinging your heart forward and then swinging your legs back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Everybody makes your way back, downward facing dog. Notice how all the weight's going to your outer hands and your wrists. Take your fingertips really wide here. Turn your wrist creases straight forward. Yeah, brother. And then press down through here. And so you notice like your pectoral muscles get active. Triceps are wrapping back. Now press the downward dog from here. You won't go quite as far back. You should find it's a little bit more powerful this way. A little bit maybe even more under your armpits and things like this. Keep your hands where they're at. Actually, you know what? Yeah, bring your hands back. Your stance a little bit long and then slight bend into your knees to get your back a little more flat. Yeah, you notice how without moving your hands anymore, bend your knees, press your heart back. Notice that extra little bit of stretch to your low back. Right, allow yourself to work with that a little bit here. Nice. All right. Inhale carries your right leg up and back behind you. Right? And then stack your right hip on top of your left here. A little bit of openness here. If you want to walk your hands back and reach your left hand back for your right foot, you're welcome to do so. Flipping your dog, of course, is an option. You're just going to be here for a couple of breaths. And then gently make your way back. Step your right foot between your hands. Spin your left foot down. Inhale to warrior one. Exhale to find your way to warrior two. Outer right hip draws back, low ribs in. Reverse your warrior, inhale. Exhale, bring your right hand down, make your way to half moon pose. And if you need to take child's pose, if like your blood sugar drops, by all means, please do. Bend into your left knee if you want to. Grab your left foot to your left hand grab your left foot with your left hand. If you're like, man, I do this shit every time, reach your right hand back for your left foot instead. Keep that half moon, keep that Chapasana variation here, yeah? And then everybody think lower ribs in, left knee extends towards the back of the mat and left knee points towards the side wall. And then slowly as you can, make your way back, Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Windmill your hands down. All 10 toes turn to the right. So you can stay right here for supported side plank. Take side plank or bend your right knee back. Reach your right hand back for your right foot, working towards Kapinjalasana. Right? So it's kind of like the same opening that you have in flipping your dog. It's going for like that bow variation, yeah? And then gently plant your hands. Press straight back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look past your hands. Exhale. Inhale, step or float it up. Halfway lift. Coming to crow pose, of course, is an option. Nice, Nick. Exhale to forward fold. Sit low, feet together, knees together. Utkatasana, chair pose, fierce pose. And then exhale, slowly as you can, lower your sitting bones all the way to your heels. And then try to, without falling, extend your left leg forward. Then bring your sitting bones to the mat. I know it's total pain in the ass, like variation, right? Now, option one, you can just wrap your left arm around the front of your right shin. Plant your right hand back behind you and twist. Option two, right? And your right foot stays in front of your right sitting bone here. Option two is to lean back. Try to get your left shoulder to the outside of your right foot and twist. Option three is to do the same. Turn your thumb down. Pull your left shoulder from your left ear. Reach your left arm around. Reach back with your right. Maybe taking a bind here. Marichyasana variation C. Shoulders draw from your ears and your heart lifts no matter where you are at. And Zena, if you can wrap a little more and look more over your, yes, awesome. And root through your sitting bones, everybody, right? Think right sitting bone towards your left heel. Turn your left toes straight up. Flex your left toes towards your shin. Awesome, 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 awesome. And then gently exhale everything. All right. Inhale brings you back to center. Now give this a shot. It might happen, it might not. Option one, step back and just shift over, swing your left leg back, kick your right leg up and back and flip your dog. Option two, if you want to, right, you might scoop your right arm in front of your right shin here and then use this leverage to send your left leg back, send your right leg back, flip your dog. So you're stacking your right hip on top of your left and flipping your dog no matter what. Those of you that with Urdhva Dhanurasana available to you, welcome to go there. And then gently back to downward facing dog that you go. Just a little something different, yeah. Next inhale, draws your left leg up and back behind you. Pull your knee to your chest. Quietly step your left foot between your hands. Right foot spins down. Inhale to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale takes you to Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. One inhale to reverse your warrior. And then exhale, take your left hand in front of your left foot. Make your way to half moon pose. Right, really kick through your right heel here, yeah? And then think Chapasana variation. You can bend into your right knee, reach back with your right hand for your right foot. And Tucker, try to turn your palm towards Orchard Street, right? In the same direction your heart is facing, right? Oh, no. So palm, fingertips still reach straight up, right? And then palm just still reaches like forward, right? Yeah. Maybe it's just that my eyes weren't too good here. Nice. Right, and shoulder can soften from your ears still. Nice. Right? And then gently, right, easefully, making your way back, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Windmill your hands down. All 10 toes turn to the left. You can step back, take side plank. Or like I say, if you want to bend your left knee back, reach back for your left foot with your left hand, right, taking what's known as Kapenjalasana, you're welcome to go for it. Right? Supported side plank also works, but just choosing what works best for you in this time. And then slowly make your way back, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look past your hands, exhale. Stepper floated up, crow pose if you've got it. And we all come to standing forward, or chair pose once again. And then once again, easefully, your sitting bones come down towards your heels. And then at that last moment, send your right leg forward, bring your sitting bones all the way to the mat. Take your right arm, you can reach your right arm in front of your right shin here. You can reach your right shoulder to the outside of your left knee, right? And wrap back around with your arm if you have it. Maybe even grabbing your left wrist with your right hand if it's plausible, yeah? But try to pull your right heel or left heel all the way in towards your left sitting bone, yeah? And root down through your sitting bones. Right? Right toes point straight up, right toes actively flex towards your right shin. Each inhale comes to your collarbones to give you lift. Each exhale allows you to wrap your left rib cage further back towards the back of the room. One more inhale here. Last exhale here. And then once again, come to forward, right? And you can just swing up over your left foot, plant your right foot, take a flip dog on the second side, or like I say, if you can scoop your left armpit in front of your right shin and get a little bit of a lift, almost like an arm balance to send you back, you're welcome to go there. And then you can take Vinyasa if you'd like, or if you don't, and make your way back to downward facing dog. All right, and then from downward facing dog, inhale carries your, left leg, or right leg, up and back behind you, right? And then gently step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Find your blocks, take your blocks, put them kind of like a fortress, right? Like right in front of you. And what you're gonna do is heel toe your right leg, or right foot across to the left side of your mat. Flex your toes towards your shins. Try to keep your shin parallel to the front of the mat. And the blocks aren't going to be beneath your hip, right? They're going to be right, kind of like in the crook of your knee. So it's like your blocks line up against the back of your right calf here. And then give your right thigh support. And then from here, lift your heart, wrap your inner left thigh to the sky so your left hip comes forward, right hip comes back, and then gently make your way forward here. Right. So you're really working to allow your left knee to be a little bit wide, or at least right knee to be wide of your right hip. And if this does not work for you, you can take pigeon as you might normally, right? But give this a shot. What this can do is help you to kind of establish a little bit more opening, right? And avoid the path of like least resistance that your body might usually take, right? And then folding forward, but think heart forward, almost thinking chin forward here, so that there's this extension of your spine, right? Even here, you don't just kind of like fold in and collapse in, but rather that there's still lengthening to be had here, that there's still activation to be had here, as opposed to just kind of dumping in, yeah? And if you find that this, you know, if your hips are a little bit more open, you find that that first setting doesn't provide much, right? You can always go to the slightly lower setting and come on down. Right, and if you find that like hinging down isn't quite possible, like really work your fingertips into the ground and let your heart lift, and think heart forward as you slowly come down. Everybody's left toes flex towards your left shin, especially if your, right toes flex towards your right shin, right? Especially if your right thigh is parallel to the front of the mat and on the blocks. You want to protect your knee ligaments, yeah? And then what can you do to soften your low belly? It's like, this might be a more active variation than you're used to, but what can you do to find softness, to find ease? And then really work to bring that left hip forward, right? So you're not hanging out over to your right side, but rather finding squareness and evenness. And Alicia, bring your right knee further out towards the right side of the mat. Yeah, excellent. And take a few more breaths here. Take one more inhale here. One more exhale here. And then slowly begin to come on up out of this, right? Hands plant. You can do whatever you need to, coming back to plank pose, right? Maybe it's downward facing dog and engaging both your quadriceps to really reset your knee joint. Maybe it's like the circles with your right leg. Maybe it's flipping your dog. I would refrain from things like singing Yankee Doodle Dandy. It might be a little bit odd, but if it really floats your boat, you're welcome to do so. And then eventually it's just going to be same thing second side, right? So if you know that that variation with the blocks won't work for you, and I mean like genuinely tried it and it won't work for you, right? Go to what works for you. Otherwise, left foot steps to the outside of your left hand. Walk your left foot across the mat in front of your blocks. And then try to have those blocks like directly, it's like, so it's like your outer kind of lower part of your right or left thigh rests on it, right? But the edge of the blocks kind of lines up against your calf, yeah? And then think right hip forward, inner right thigh to the sky, your left thigh bone pulls into your left hip socket to create a sense of mula bandha here, right? Root lock, and then to really square your hips to the front of the mat, and then draw forward. Right, but think expansiveness through your spine here, right? Especially if your hips are a little bit tight, because what happens is rounding, right? Happens. It's the path of least resistance, right? But to kind of like follow the path of least resistance and let that become habit, right, is going to be ultimately inhibiting. And recline variations here work, right? Whatever variation best suits you here works. And then inhale in. Exhale to soften it. And what can you soften here? Conversely, what are you allowing to let go, right, as kind of a form of escape? You know, this practice isn't about achievement, it's about awareness, right? And really, asana, the physical practice of yoga at its base, just translates to, you know, meditative seat. The guideline for it is just, you know, a steady, comfortable seat. And it's just a microcosm of what's known as abhyasa and viragya, right? Abhyasa being active practice, dedicated practice, and viragya being letting it go entirely. Let your jaw, let your tongue soften. Take one more inhale here all together. And then exhale, audibly sigh it out, let it go. And you'll gently just make your way back to downward facing dog as you found balance between the two sides. Now, for those of you that are looking for a heating inversion, be it a headstand or Panchamarasana, if it's safe middle of the room practice, you're welcome to go there. Keep in mind that if your head is on the ground, you are never jumping to headstand, ever, 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 and certainly not anywhere where I could see it ever. Even if you have like a bodyguard ready to kick my ass for saying something, I'll still say it. I'm adamant about people protecting their necks, right? Otherwise, you'll make your way to lying down on your mat, and you can take your legs to the sky or plant your feet, slide a block under your sacrum. Those of you taking shoulder stand, always look directly up. Think hips over shoulders, but starting with legs over hips. How your shoulders feel. How your shoulders feel. Those of you taking headstand are going to take child's pose. Rachel, keep doing what you're doing. Those of you taking shoulder stand can let your feet gently come back behind you. And if you've just been lying down with your legs high or maybe on a block, you can always take plow pose, halasana if it serves you. Just remove the block in doing so, right? Or you can just begin to let your legs extend on the mat. And eventually we'll all come to lying down. And I'm going to recommend fish pose for everybody. If you want to take the support, or if you want to take the traditional variation, go for it. Otherwise, a block, ideally with a towel beneath it if you're sweaty, comes in between your shoulder blades, or not in between, but underneath your shoulder blades, right? And your second block can be on a lower setting to support your head, or your head can hang out, or if you have neck issues, if it's on the same setting. Right? But just allowing your shoulders to kind of open up and allowing for that counter. Opening of your chest. And at those of you taking the supported fish pose, right, with the blocks beneath you, if you want to see about reaching your fingertips back behind you, it might just give you a little bit more opening of your heart, right, kind of a feel-good thing. Welcome to do it. And then anything final that you need prior to Shavasana, you're welcome to do so. If you want this to be your final pose, right, you're welcome to do that. If you want to bring your feet together, take your knees out wide. For Supta Baddha Konasana, any variation, yeah, you're welcome to do so. We all just find that sense of ease. And then maybe a deep breath in. Exhale, side out. And moving from the ether, gently bringing your awareness back to your breath. Allow your breath to really fill your body here. But allow your exhales to be just as full. Clear that extra little bit, that untouched, oft forgotten about part out of the bottom of your lungs. And then as you're ready, slowly extend your fingertips back, legs forward. Taking a stretch here. And then knees to your chest, rock over to one side, probably your right, and then making your way to a comfortable cross-legged seat. And those of us in the front row are going to request to turn and face the back of the room. Take a moment, hands can come to heart center, palms can be face up or face down on your thighs here. Right, but really make it concerted effort here to draw your sitting bones to the mat. Right, if your knees are very, very high, sit on a block. It's going to help your knees to drop out. And if you do this at home, you can sit on an elevated surface and then place blankets under your knees to enhance the effect even further. Highly recommended. So your sitting bones root, your low ribs draw in so that there's this drawing up from the ground, and then as your heart lifts, your chin really draw towards your chest and the sides of your neck back. Almost finding what's known as Mahabandha, the combination of what's known as Mula Bandha at your root, Uddiyana Bandha at your low belly, and then Jalandhara Bandha of your throat, all happening together. So that you're really reaffirming your presence in your body and reaffirming the connection between your physical and energetic body. Heart lifts to your thumbs if they're at your heart center. Take a moment. Know that you have my full gratitude and appreciation for your practice here and everything that you do to make this experience what it is. And know that when you take this practice, it's just to reveal the completeness of yourself, that there's nothing that needs to be added or taken away. You're just accessing what's already there. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste. So